Hi there, Internet Associate. It's Anthony, and I'm about to watch the last episode of Teen Wolf. So if you're not aware, I've only watched the first episode before. This is part of my little series I'm doing of only watching the first and last episode of some TV shows, just because I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. I know that you can't learn everything about a show from just 2 episodes. Not trying to say that, but it seems fun. So after that first episode of Teen Wolf, I have no idea what to expect, really. I mean, obviously, I think that since it's been, 6 seasons now, and it looks like this last season was split into 2, that, the characters are probably going to be a lot older. I'm sure that they've matured, grown a lot since that first episode. They're not in high school anymore, and maybe a lot of the things that they were doing back then, like, going out to the woods to look for dead bodies, they've probably kind of grown out of at this point. Not only because they've gotten older, but also because they've probably been through a lot. So I'm looking forward to seeing, where people like, what was his name? Scott, Stiles, Allison's dad. I'm looking forward to seeing where all these characters have gone now. Like, I made a few predictions at the end of the first episode, such as, I think I said, I thought that Scott and Stiles maybe at some point might have like a falling out of sorts, and maybe Stiles will be against Scott. I don't really think that's going to happen, but I think it would be cool if it did. So I kind of made a bold prediction in that. Even if that did happen, though, I think by this point, they probably would have gotten over it and it's a different thing going on. So I don't know. I think I said I didn't think that Allison and Scott would still be together at this point. Maybe they're just working together. And I also said I thought that maybe Scott's dad, or I should say Allison's dad, might actually be on their side now. Like, I have a feeling that even though he was a werewolf hunter in the first episode, that at this point he's probably become more like a good guy, at least in our, in relation to how we see things as an audience and how Scott will see things. So I think that he's probably on Scott's side now and is probably helping out with things. So if you haven't seen the first part, go ahead and check that out before watching this one. But now I'm going to go ahead and jump right into this and just see how much Teen Wolf has changed over the course of these seasons. I think this should be really interesting, really fun. So let's go ahead and get into it. Teen Wolf, Season 6, Episode 20, The Wolves of War. Let's do it. Is that Scott? Yeah, he's gotten a lot older. Way older.
Let's go.
Is that that's the werewolf hunter, right? Isn't that the werewolf hunter from the first episode? I think that it is. I think that was a good prediction.
They had guns.
Who is this? Is this another werewolf? Oh yeah, he's running from werewolf hunters.
They were hunting him.
Ooh. And they're hunting him while he's human form too.
It changed his life. It changed everything.
Sounds similar to Scott's story. Where's that guy, I wonder? The dude that, was the older dude. Yeah, there's Scott. Whoa. He really looks a lot different than it seems like I remember him looking in the first episode.
I thought I could never trust. He ended up saving my life.
Wow, yeah. I guess he's referring
More
to...
than once.
I guess he's referring to him. Right there. So he saved his life more than once. Like, I was sitting here wondering, like, I figured that... I mean, I kind of just had a feeling that was the direction it would go. That werewolf hunter would end up being on his side. But now I'm, like, really curious. I wonder how that happened. I'm sure there was a lot that happened to, to cause this relationship to build. Since I'm sure at first they were like, direct enemies.
Everyone in my story is dead.
Where's Allison?
But you're not. Now you're with us. So what happens
I
next?
slick feel like Allison's dead.
Your story. How does it end?
That's what we're about to find out, I guess. What in the world is happening right now? Malia? Who is Malia? Huh? Is it Stiles? It's Stiles!
You think you were doing this without me, did you? Without us?
I don't know who that is. Oh, wait. Or is that... Oh, that's the guy. That's the older guy. Yeah, that's Derek. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this already is looking crazy. Like, this already is looking like a totally different show than that first episode. I mean, like, they out here with, like, you know, machine guns and stuff and all this craziness. You can already tell it has, like, the first one, like I said, it was dark, but it was also lighthearted at the same time. I imagine there's probably still, like, some levity to this, but this was definitely a pretty kind of, a much more kind of darker, gritty opener than the first one, which was still dark, but they threw in a lot of little moments of levity in the cold open of the first episode. This one felt like a lot grittier, like a lot more serious, if you will. So it's always interesting to watch how, especially in these shows where the characters start off like in high school, like younger, you can kind of see the show even kind of mature with the characters, which I think is really interesting to see, because you can already see how this feels like a bit of a more mature show now than that first episode did. So I'm looking forward to actually seeing what the rest of this is going to be like. The way Styles said, "You didn't think you were going to do this without me, did you?" makes me almost think, was Styles like not around for a while or something? Like, he pulled up and like rolled the window down. "You didn't think you'd do this without me." That was like that type of thing where it's like we haven't seen him in a while, or like, you know, he hasn't been around, he hasn't been with him. So from that, I would make a guess to say that maybe Styles has been somewhere, or he hasn't been as commonly on the show anymore. That would be a guess based off of that. Like, another fun thing about this is trying to use context clues and maybe make guesses as to what already happened just based off how things are presented and things that the characters say.
Oops.
Okay, well, he just died. And this is probably a really sad moment, but I don't think I even know who that is.
War indeed. Welcome back, Derek. You must all be feeling rather nostalgic. Are you pleased with the little family reunion I've gathered around you, Scott?
So this Gerard guy is like the big
So I
bad.
can thank you in person.
Jackson Whitmore. Couldn't
Jackson?
carry death coming.
Wow, that's cool. Jackson's still around on here doing stuff. I guess, I mean, that makes sense, but interesting. I wonder what Jackson Whitmore has going on now. I'm sure his character, or at least I hope that his character has changed a lot from the first episode, and that he's kind of grown and matured and become a more likable person. That's what usually happens with those type of characters. They eventually grow up.
Oh, Jackson.
Oh my gosh. If he hadn't grown up before, being tortured like this definitely will make him grow up. Whoever this Gerard guy is, he definitely seems like a major player and a pretty big threat. I mean, like, I like the way that he just comes across, you know what I mean? He doesn't have too much of that stereotypical bad guy thing about him. He's a little bit more reserved, and also just the fact that he's kind of like an older guy, a little bit older than what you typically see these bad guys age. Like, it's just very interesting, because it actually really makes him seem even more dangerous. Because you're like, okay, so what all does he have up his sleeve then? Because obviously he's not about to just be out here like fist fighting them or something. So yeah, I like this guy. Without seeing anything before this, or without knowing anything about him, I definitely get the sense of how much of a major threat that he is. Wow. Look at Styles, man.
That's not how it happened.
Oh,
Yeah, I may
okay.
have left out a detail.
Oh, okay. That's a little more in line with the Styles we saw in episode 1. I was about to say.
You want to see it?
I was like, wow, now that was some serious character growth right there.
My dad and I.
We're not dying tonight.
Wait, were they in the first episode? I'm pretty sure I don't remember them. Like, this is another one of those moments I feel like this must be... What? What did they just do? This is another one of those moments I feel like it must be really emotional or something. I have no idea what just happened. But how did they just do that? They just totally disappeared. What is this, Medusa? Like, jeez. They looked at the Inukite?
What do they look like?
Don't look around. Don't turn over. Don't turn... Dude, I was not ready for that. I was not ready for that. That just really made my heart jump. I was not ready for that at all.
Look at these claws.
What? So
on.
Jackson is part cannibal?
Come take a look.
it's always so cool how somehow like on all these different shows, you know, that are of this nature, like supernatural type stuff, by the last episode it's like everybody's like, you know, got powers now. It's so cool how that always ends up happening. What's he about to do? What's he about to do?
There's no room for my tail.
What?
Before me. Oh, I talked my way out of it.
You used the tail, didn't you?
You still have a tail.
So gross.
Can you just get up?
But why did these dudes, they're covered in blood, all this stuff, but then their hair still looks so immaculately well groomed? It just seems kind of out of place to me. Is that one of those bullets?
No, you're not okay. It's yellow wolfsbane. It's gonna kill you.
He said you're not okay. He said it's gonna kill you. Like, just plain and simple, yeah, it's gonna kill you. Okay. This is some cool choreography they got going on here.
There's only one way. Get rid of wolfsbane. You gotta burn it out.
Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Was that enough? Wait, what's going on? Oh no, is it one of those nightmare things?
Nobody here wants to get hurt.
Put your gun down, deputy.
This feels like a really epic moment, but I don't know what's
I'm not gonna let
happening.
you take him out of here.
Walk around.
Where's Lydia?
I don't know. I closed my eyes and I couldn't see which way she went.
They look so silly.
Where are you?
Right in front of you.
That thing is ridiculously scary, man. Ah, man. And they got Ethan.
Are you willing to give me another chance?
Don't look, it's probably that red dude.
You're not real.
Don't I sound real?
It doesn't matter. No.
Don't you want
I don't want to see that thing again. Don't look, because I don't want to see that thing again.
Remember me?
Stop, Derek. Don't look.
Remember us?
Derek, I'm serious. No, what are you doing? Oh, I see him in his eyes. Oh no, that thing is so creepy, man. Oh my gosh. Man, Derek shouldn't have fallen for that one. I like the Jackson one. Dang it, that light went out. Derek shouldn't have fallen for that one. The Jackson one, I can kind of understand how he fell for it, since the guy was like, you know, I'm right in front of you. Like, it was like a real, like, I could see how he would have thought that was just a real thing or whatever, since they had been walking around with their eyes closed. Derek knew that that was fake, and he still fell for it. But I mean, obviously Jennifer was somebody very special, so I can totally understand how, you know, he would end up falling to the, you know, to the pressure or whatever. So, I mean, I can understand how it happened. But yeah, he knew what was going on and fell for it. So that shows how good of a master manipulator this thing is.
Oh, except enough for one last bullet.
Whoa, man, like,
Not everything.
ooh. Chris.
You
What?
failed. Everyone.
Whoa, that's pretty spooky too.
Especially
Her, is that Allison? That must be Allison. Yeah, he said it. He said it. He went there. Ew. Ew. Wear a mask or something, man. Is he ripping his eyes out? He's ripping his eyes out? What? Oh my goodness. Just gonna have to use them werewolf senses now, huh? This man just ripped his eyes out. What?
Copy.
You better not. Somebody stop him. Don't. Was he able to look at him because his biggest fear is being blind or something? They turned him to stone. And now that broke everybody else. Perfect.
Now it's over.
Now it's over.
Good to see you, Coach.
You too, Jackson.
Oh, that's the coach. Yeah, that's the coach from the first episode that was being like a jerk to Scott, kind of trying to make him do the goalie thing. Wait, what is he doing? Did he just die? You should have dropped their weapon.
Someone talk to
All
me.
your friends are dead.
What's happening? Someone pick up the radio and tell me what's happening.
You lost.
Ooh, you lost.
Malia? Kiss him.
What?
Kiss him.
I'm not gonna lie, that's a little corny for me, but I guess that probably did it for some people. I guess because I don't know the background to this or whatever.
Alec, the people who are hunting you, they've got a leader. Her name's Monroe. She's got a lot of
So
followers.
that all happened, he
Like
just
what,
told him that
hundreds?
story or something?
Thousands. My pack.
His pack.
And you can be with us if you want. You're not a monster. You're a werewolf. Like me.
Is Alec gonna join in with them walking? Yep. Full moon. Yeah, that was a really cool episode. Definitely felt very different from the first episode of the season. Like I said, I barely even recognized Scott because he seemed significantly older and more mature too, and just kind of felt like a different character almost at this point, which makes sense given how much he's probably been through. I think it's cool how this story is really coming full circle when you look at the first episode and Scott first finding out that he was a werewolf, and Derek coming and kind of saying, we're brothers now, and this is what you are. You're gonna have to fight. I want to help you. If you want to come along with me, great, let's do this. And now that's kind of like what Scott is doing for Alec here. So it's cool how they've kind of shown Scott's full progression from, you know, the student to the master, if you will. I guess in a way that's what this whole show has been, like just watching him come of age into being the werewolf that he is today. Now he's fully accepted. He's a werewolf. He's not a monster. He's a werewolf, and he's ready to bring up the next generation of werewolves. So I think that was a really cool, apropos way of ending all of this. I really appreciate it. Like, you know, I guess the tone of this episode, like, it was pretty cool how, you know, how serious everything felt, how dark it kind of got. You know, a lot of the imagery was pretty unsettling. I felt like that red guy was, well, like every time they flashed to him, I was just like, geez. In fact, I kind of wish that they didn't show him so much. Like, I kind of wish that they would just like show him for like a couple seconds and then just like cut away. Because eventually, like, his spooky factor started to kind of wear off when we were just seeing him for like 10 seconds at a time on screen. So I kind of would have liked if they would have just shown him for a few seconds and cut away. But I still, either way, I thought he was like really creepy looking and, you know, made for a very unsettling addition. And not just him, but a lot of the other stuff that was going on too, like that mummy looking guy, or then just some of the scenes that they had, like the torture scene on Jackson. Like, they had some pretty, you know, some grim, disturbing stuff going on here, but I thought it was pretty cool, pretty well done. I do wonder what happened to Allison in the midst of all this. That's the cool thing about, even though I just watched the first and last episode, is like there's still so much more that happened that I don't know, that even if I did go and watch this series, it's not even like it's totally spoiled, because it's like you just don't know how all this stuff got to be where it is now. Because I mean, I really have no idea what could have happened to Allison. I think that's very interesting. What he brought up though just made it sound very intriguing when that guy was like, you know, you failed her, you failed Allison. I really want to know what happened to her, and I want to know what her father thought about that too, because they kind of played it a lot on Scott, but we didn't really in this episode see that much, I think, about what her father felt about it, which I'm sure he felt something about it. It just they didn't really have time to bring that up in this episode because they probably shown it plenty of times before. But yeah, that was interesting. And I'm also just interested in how he and, that, what was his name, Chris, the werewolf hunter, Allison's father, how they ended up becoming an alliance. I mean, I kind of thought it would happen, but I have no idea how it happened. Like, it, definitely seems like an unlikely alliance. So it was really cool seeing how much things have shifted at this point in the show. Styles, he was kind of like the Xander in this sense, if you relate to Buffy, in that he never ended up getting powers or whatnot, it seems. But, he still managed to kind of always come through in the end, just being a good friend and, kind of being surprisingly smart in a way, if you will, because he seems like he's one of those characters that's meant to be kind of, they can be missing a few light bulbs up there every now and then, but when it really comes down to it, they can get it done. They can figure it out. They can be smart about it. So, yeah, I really like Styles as a character. He was cool. I'm not sure if I was familiar with Lydia or the other person, Malia or whatnot. Maybe one of them was the one that Allison was talking to in the first episode. I'm really not sure. Honestly, to be real, I really didn't know who most of the people in this episode were. Obviously, I knew Jackson, Scott, Styles, Chris, Derek. Outside of that, I was really kind of I don't know who any of you people are. I'm not sure if any of them were in the first episode. Maybe some of them were. I'm pretty positive a lot of these people were not in the first episode. So, that was definitely a matter of trying to figure out what was going on with them and picking up cues of what all they were doing to try to figure out what their past was, which was interesting. It seems like this show over time has built up a pretty good cast of characters for itself, because this episode seemed to have a lot of, emotional kind of finale moments for all these different characters and stuff. So it was cool kind of seeing all that come to a head back to back, and each of these characters getting a nice final payoff. So that was really fun to watch. Overall, I enjoyed this. This was definitely really fun to watch. I may have to watch Teen Wolf in its entirety at some point. These were some pretty entertaining episodes. So go ahead, leave a comment down below. Give me your thoughts. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. Let me know maybe some other shows that I should do a first and last episode reaction to. And if you're interested in seeing the full uncut versions of these reactions, you can head on over to my Patreon. That'll be it. I'll see you all later in another video. I hope that you have a good life until then. That's it. Goodbye.